Hey guys, the lady of the hours, Miss Zoe. She's the event organizer, right? So where's the idea came from? I'm gonna ask you.
Well, so we've been doing this for, we started it in 2013 actually, and then COVID, we skipped the year, but this is our 9th annual repeal day, and it came from because it's the repeal of prohibition. It's the 91st repeal of alcohol prohibition, and the history of alcohol prohibition rolls into the history of cannabis prohibition in a very key way. So it's just something that we do to try to, raise awareness, talk about like what's going on, and try to, change laws to stop arrests for cannabis. So.
All right. So how long have you been part of the organization from the start, or?
Yeah, so I am a co-founder, along with I think a few other people that you interviewed, including Tom Donovan and some of the people that were at the rally today. And it's a collective, effort with not just my organization, but we have a coalition of organizations that work on this with us. And we've been working on this for a long time. We did accomplish, legalization back in 2023. But it was limited. There were some circumstances with, it's hard to explain, but like a lot of other states legalized through voter initiative, but Delaware doesn't have that. So you have to talk to your lawmakers and get them to introduce a bill, and then you have to, get it through the House and different committees, and then the Senate, and then you have to get the governor to sign it. And in fact, we had a governor veto a legalization bill back in 2022. So it's been a long process that literally is a collective effort between more than 30 organizations and hundreds of people, thousands of people have, contributed to this movement here in Delaware in one way or another over, the collective 13 years of us actively organizing to end cannabis prohibition. And it doesn't end with legalization. Cannabis prohibition doesn't end with legalization. The end of prohibition starts with legalization.
Oh, wow.
And then there's so much more. I mean, you heard us today. We're talking about freeing the prisoners, because you can't have people in jail for something that people are now getting rich off of for doing the same exact thing. So, and then there's still people being arrested. There's just so much that we still need to do. We need home cultivation. I mean, I can just go on and on.
Are you good?
But
so you're just based in Delaware, or is other states?
yeah, I mean, we do federal work as well. I mean, more or less, take the lead from the national organizations on federal policy. That's why today we were calling for President Joe Biden to free cannabis prisoners from the Last Prisoner Project. You can check out their work, cannabisclemency.org, I believe, and lastprisonerproject.org. These are, national organizations that are leading the effort on a federal level. So we do work in Delaware, but we definitely, support the federal efforts
so like
as well.
Teamwork effort. All right. So do you see like Colorado, right? Pretty much legal, right? Colorado, I think, Oregon too.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Colorado was 2012. Oregon. There's now 24 states that have legalized for adult use purposes. But each one of those states, including Colorado, has continuously worked on their laws. So they legalized, but then there's been other things. In fact, there was no social equity at all when Colorado legalized, when Oregon legalized, and then Colorado went back and worked on that. But states now, like Delaware, New York, and other states have incorporated that into the laws before they passed, learning lessons from the states that had done it before that. But they continue to work on laws too. In fact, legal cannabis lounges in Colorado, where you can legally smoke in a cannabis lounge, wasn't legalized until just 2 years ago.
Wow.
So
how far Delaware from that level when you come to Colorado and stuff like that, being legalized?
I mean, we're at a similar level, except for Colorado's market so much more mature. And I think the biggest difference between Colorado and Delaware is that Colorado is an open market, meaning that anybody can try to get a license and they continue to still license people. That's something that we're working on here in Delaware, because the way they passed it, it's actually right now, the implementation is a limited license market, meaning only a set amount of licenses are available, and that's just not how this plant needs to be legalized. That's not legal, you know, like it needs to be legal like the guy that owns the bar down the street. It needs to be legal like the guy that owns the liquor store, you know, like it needs to be legal where, you know, like anybody can be a part of this and not have to jump through all these barriers to entry and all these hoops, you know? So like, I mean, I think we still have a lot of work to do. There is a possibility through the Cannabis Commissioner to open it up, but it's going to take a lot of work to convince him, I think, unfortunately.
So is any Delaware official, like government-wise level or federal level, that helping your cause on that kind of level from Delaware?
So like Delaware's state representatives and senators, we actually had a state senator at the rally today, Senator Kira Hoffner, and she actually worked with our organization before she was a senator, and then she was a leader within our organization, and then she was elected to office. And she has helped in so many ways because she has conversations that we'll never be able to have with our lawmakers. We're very heavily involved with, you know, lobbying our lawmakers and, you know, educating our policymakers. But her work is instrumental as well. We also had Representative Ed Ozinski, who led this charge. And he had actually sponsored every single piece of cannabis legislation before that too, so the medical bill and some of the medical amendments and stuff, and then he took the lead on legalization. So there are legislators that definitely believe in the cause, but they're up against their colleagues, you know, and there's a lot of moving pieces to it. It becomes very political. That's why we saw a veto in 2022, where Governor John Carney, who's now going to be the mayor of Wilmington, vetoed legalization. And I think that's why we're seeing things in Wilmington where they're going to try to ban legal stores or try to make, you know, extra barriers to entry.
So they're going backward. It seems like
there's a lot of backstepping. The way I've been saying it is it's like one step forward, two steps back. And now we're seeing raids on legal hemp businesses and like CB, you know, like Delta 8, Delta 10, and different, what people think are legal products, and they have certifications that they're hemp products, which are legal nationwide and in Delaware. But now the Delaware Department of Justice is saying, no, it's not legal to sell those products, even though hemp is legal in Delaware. Wow. So like, there's so much work. I mean, we could talk for hours about all the, I mean, it's like a rabbit hole in a million different ways and so many different things that we need to do. That's one of the things.
Well, yeah, we're just about to speak on that. You got a couple flyers
yeah.
in, right? There's one interesting for here. Tell me about that.
This was actually made by our director and one of our attorneys, Adam Wendett. It's our Delaware Smokes design, and it's the Delaware State seal in the shape of the police shield. And actually that number is higher now. That number is actually closer to 200,000 consumers here in the state of Delaware.
Oh, wow. So tell me, what's this right here? Like this?
Well, so we do have, you know, like I said, prohibition doesn't end with legalization, but the end of prohibition starts with legalization, and that's what happened here in Delaware. We have our own repeal day. So we're celebrating the 91st anniversary of alcohol repeal day, but we now have a cannabis repeal day for possession offenses, and that created the market and stuff like that. There also were expungements in that piece of legislation. So repeal day, April 23rd, 2023 was the day that the legalization bill went into effect. And Governor Carney at the time instead of vetoing it, he just decided not to sign it. So it didn't get signed into law, but it became effective after he declined to take action within a certain amount of days.
Oh, wow. So. You also got your flyer here, right? This your flyer for your organization. This today event, guys. Tell me about it. Like, you got different.
Yeah, so.
You got a lot of sponsors on here too, right?
Yeah, I told you, like it's a collaborative event, you know, a collaborative effort. You know, we don't do this alone. Like, you know, all these different organizations, there's actually some that aren't on there that still contributed, but we didn't have time to put them on the flyer. We had already gotten them printed, but. So yeah, we have our sponsors and community partners for our 2024 Repeal Day Rally.
A lot of people turned out today, guys. I came in late. I didn't have time to record the whole, event, but I'm glad I came over here to the after party to talk to a couple people. But it was a pretty nice event put together, man.
Thank you so much. It wasn't just me, you know, like any band, you have to have a singer. I'm the singer. That's the front man, like, gets a lot of attention, but you have a whole band behind you that's doing all the work. You can't do it without them. So just, so grateful. It's been such, a collaborative process over the years.
All right. In the next 5 to 10 years, right, where you see your organization gonna be, and within legalizing P-Roll, where you think Delaware gonna be within 5 to 10 years when it comes to that?
So 5-year plan, is more like, all these different cleanup, like all the things that weren't included in the first bill. We're going to try to push for an open market. We're going to, do all the criminal justice reforms, that we're going to, attempt to do them. That's our plan. That's including home cultivation, increasing possession limits. Alcohol doesn't have a limit for how much you can possess. So cannabis shouldn't have a limit too, because people are still being arrested for just having a little bit over an ounce. Like an ounce. Our neighbors in Maryland have home cultivation, and it's I believe a 2-ounce limit. There's a 6-ounce limit in New Jersey. So why is Delaware just 1? So we have to increase the possession limits. We need home cultivation. Like I said, our neighbors in Maryland can cultivate. And then we need to depenalize public consumption, because a lot of people don't realize we legalize, but to smoke in public, it's still a misdemeanor arrest. And Delaware is actually the only state in the entire country that still has a jail penalty for a first offense public consumption. A lot of people don't go to jail for it, but it's still on the books.